Welcome back to the Deep Dive, listeners. We're ready to go deep. Today, we're diving into a topic that, let's face it, piques everyone's interest:
Yeah.
money. Specifically, we're cracking the code on this thing called the 75-10-15 rule. Sounds kind of like a secret society.
Really? Yeah.
But before anyone starts picturing, Scrooge McDuck diving into piles of gold coins,
Right.
our sources suggest this rule can apply whether you're, just starting out or you've been in the game a while. It's more about strategy than how much you're actually bringing in.
Mhm.
And to help us navigate this whole thing, we've got an expert who can, make sense of it all. So the 75-10-15 rule.
hmm
Where do we even start? What's the elevator pitch for this thing?
Well, the beauty's in its simplicity, really, and how adaptable it is. It's about being intentional with your money, making it work for you.
Okay, intentional with your money. I like that. So break it down for us. What's the deal with this 75%?
All right, so the 75 is your spending, but, and this is key, it's not about deprivation. It's about figuring out what truly matters to you, like what really adds value to your life. Do you need that daily latte, or is it just a habit? Could you maybe have that less often and then use what you save towards something you really want, like a vacation or a course on something you're interested in, maybe?
So it's less about cutting coupons and more about being, I guess, mindful about where your money's actually going.
Exactly.
I did see this one thing, though, and it really stuck with me. Apparently, even millionaires look for happy hour deals. I mean, if they're doing it,
Right.
must be something to it.
Even when you've made it, value's still important. It's not about being cheap. It's about, well, being smart. Your money has potential. Every dollar can work for you.
Okay, I'm with you on that. It's like being a conscious spender, whatever your income. But what about saving? Our sources talk about this cushion fund.
Think of it as like a safety net, just in case.
Because, let's be real, unexpected stuff happens. And our research found that over half of Americans wouldn't be prepared for even a $1,000 surprise expense. It's kind of a big deal, right?
Yeah, that's a lot of people caught off guard. Makes you think, huh?
It really does. So how much should we be aiming for in this cushion fund? Is there a magic number?
Well, not magic exactly, more like a good starting point. Think about your essential expenses for, say, 5 months. Rent, bills, that kind of thing.
5 months worth. Okay, so someone's got $2,000 in essential expenses per month. That'd be a $10,000 cushion.
Exactly. It sounds like a lot, but it's peace of mind, right? Knowing you've got it if things go sideways.
That's true. But once you get that money set aside, it's not like you just, stuff it under a mattress, right?
Uh-huh. Probably not the best strategy. Our sources recommend something called a high-yield savings account, or HYSA.
HYSA. Okay, I've heard of those, but to be honest, I don't really get how they're different from a regular savings account.
So think of it this way. Your regular savings account, that's like that friend who always promises to pay you back but never quite gets around to it.
Right.
HYSA, that's the friend who not only pays you back but tosses in a little extra just because.
Okay, yeah, I like the sound of that friend a lot more.
Yeah.
But how?
It's all about interest rates. A regular savings account might give you 0.5% APY, that's annual percentage yield. Basically how much it grows each year.
Okay.
But at HYSA, you could be looking at 4% or higher. Big difference.
Wow, that's huge.
It adds up, especially on a larger amount, like a cushion fund. So while your money's sitting there, it's still working for you.
That's pretty cool. So we've got our spending, we've got our safety net. Now, what about that final 15%? Time to make some serious moves.
Time to put that money to work, yeah. It's investment time.
Investment time. Sounds exciting, but also kind of intimidating,
Yeah, it can feel like a whole other world sometimes.
It really can. Our sources mention Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I feel like that's like the investing Bible. What's the main message there when it comes to this stuff?
Well, it really drills down into this idea that real wealth, it's not about your income. It's about what you own, those assets that'll work for you.
So it's not enough to just, make a good salary. You got to put that money to work, right?
Yeah.
So it makes more money.
Exactly. And that's where things like retirement accounts come in. Our sources really focused on Roth IRAs and 401ks.
Okay, those are two terms I hear all the time, but I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I'm always a little fuzzy on the difference.
It's not about which one's better, really. It's about what fits you best, your situation, your goals, all that. They both have tax advantages, but in different ways.
All right, so walk me through it. Let's start with Roth IRA. What's the big deal there?
Okay, so imagine it's like your own personal retirement fund, right? Grows tax-free. You put in money you've already paid taxes on.
After-tax dollars. Got it.
Right. But here's the kicker. All the gains, all the growth, that's all tax-free. When you retire, you withdraw, no taxes.
Wait, so if I put money in a Roth IRA now and it like explodes in value over my career, when I'm retired, I don't owe anything on that growth.
Nope. Our sources even talked about Peter Thiel, the billionaire investor. He supposedly grew his Roth IRA to like $5 billion.
No way.
And he won't owe a cent in taxes on it.
Okay, that's wild. There's got to be a catch, right? Limits on how much you can put in.
There are, yeah. Right now, it's $7,000 per year if you're under 50. A little more if you're older.
Still, that's pretty good. Okay, what about 401k? What's the upside there?
401ks are awesome, especially if your employer does matching contributions. Basically, you put in money before taxes are taken out.
So pre-tax.
Right. Lowers your taxable income now. And you only pay taxes on it when you withdraw in retirement.
So it's like a little bonus on your paycheck now, and hopefully by the time you retire, you're in a lower tax bracket anyway.
Exactly. Plus, you can contribute a lot more than a Roth IRA, up to $23,000 this year.
Oh, wow. That's a big difference.
Oh.
But you mentioned something about employers matching.
Oh, yeah. That's the best part. It's basically free money. Your company matches what you contribute up to a certain amount. Like they might match 100% of what you put in up to, say, 3% of your salary, then 50% on the next couple percent.
So if you're not doing that, you're basically leaving free money on the table.
Pretty much. If your company offers it, you should definitely be taking advantage.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so say I'm maxing out those accounts. What should I actually be investing in?
That's where the real decisions come in. But I know, for a lot of people, picking individual stocks and bonds.
Way too complicated.
It can be a lot, yeah. That's why our sources suggest index funds and ETFs, especially when you're first starting out.
Okay, those sound familiar, but remind me what the deal is.
It's like instant diversification. Instead of putting all your money into one thing, you're spreading it across like hundreds, sometimes even thousands of stocks or bonds.
Less risky that way.
Exactly. And you've got the potential for good long-term growth.
So instead of trying to be, a stock market whiz overnight, I can just invest in a bunch of stuff at once through one fund.
Pretty much. The S&P 500 index fund is a good example. You're buying a little piece of 500 of the biggest companies in America. Gives you exposure to the whole market without having to pick and choose individual stocks.
That's actually really smart. But even knowing all that, it still feels like investing takes a lot of patience, doesn't it? Waiting for that growth.
Oh, for sure. Our brains want that instant gratification. But patience is key here. One of the things we read, it said that if you invested just $100 a month, every month for 50 years, with an average return of 10%, which is pretty standard over time, you know what you'd end up with.
What? Don't leave me hanging.
Over $1.4 million.
Get out of here. Seriously. Just from $100 a month.
That's the magic of compound interest. It grows and grows over time. The earlier you start, even with a small amount, the better.
That is mind-blowing. I feel like we've covered so much, but at the same time, I feel like we've only just scratched the surface.
It's a journey, for sure. But the most important thing is to take that first step. Keep learning, keep exploring.
Couldn't agree more. Huge thanks to you for breaking all of this down